How's it going today, guys? So what we're going to be talking about today is how to invest $10,000. So this is kind of a continuing series I've been doing on my channel here. First we had how to invest $1,000, then we had how to invest $5,000, and now we're up to $10,000. So what I want to say before I get into this is there are some things that I recommended in the previous videos that would apply with investing $10,000, but I didn't want to just restate what I said in the previous videos because a lot of people have watched every single one of these. And I'm not trying to just repeat myself and bore my viewers. So what I did is I just made a note next to these two where you can find out more about that. So if you're the first time viewer of this mini series I'm doing here and you're looking to find out more about that, check out those videos there for more information on that. But anyways, so you have $10,000 saved up and you're looking to invest it. First of all, you should pat yourself on the back because that's more money than most people have saved up. And that's a significant amount of money to be able to invest. The first thing I'd recommend doing if you have $10,000 is to maximize your contributions to a Roth IRA. And in 2016, you can contribute up to $5,500. So you could actually maximize your contributions for 2017. Maybe they'll increase it or maybe it'll stay the same, but you'd be able to fully maximize your contributions to a Roth IRA and then have a little bit left over to invest in some other form. So that's the first thing I'd recommend doing. Maximize your contributions to a Roth IRA. The benefit with that is, unlike a traditional 401k where it's tax deferred because you pay taxes at the end, with a Roth IRA, you're basically contributing to it with money that you've already paid taxes on. So because you've paid taxes on that money already, you're able to put that money away and it grows tax-free as long as you don't touch it until a certain age. And I believe right now it's 59 and a half. But that may change, especially if you're a young person. I wouldn't bank on that. I'm sure they're going to push it off to a further date as people begin to live longer. But that is a great way to save money for your future outside of a 401k. So the very first thing I would say, fully maximize the contributions to your Roth IRA. And if you want to hear me talk more about that, watch my video on how to invest $5,000. Number two, and this is another great option, and this is actually how I invested my first $10,000, was invest in a low-fee index or mutual fund. So I got started with a mutual fund. This was actually about 18 months ago. And I actually just ran the report on that. And over the last 18 months, I know markets have been good, so this may not be what I'll expect to see long term, but over the last 18 months, I've had 8.64% return on that. So I'm very happy with that. So you could invest in a low-fee index or mutual fund for a very set it and forget it type investment where if you're not looking to be very active with your investment and you're looking for a passive investment, this is great because it's the kind of thing where you just put your money there. Maybe you'll continue to contribute towards it in the future, but it's something you just pretty much put the money in and you forget you even have it and you check up on it once in a while. But if you want to hear me talk more about that, I covered that in How to Invest $1,000. Now let's get into some new stuff. So with $10,000, there's definitely more that you can do. And the biggest thing that's possible to you now is investing in real estate as far as direct ownership with real estate. So you can get started in real estate investing with $10,000. Basically what you're going to have to do is leverage your money as a down payment on a buy and hold real estate investment. So the idea with that is you invest in a piece of real estate, you get a mortgage on a property, and hopefully you do your research and you buy in a good area, and then you're going to rent that piece of property out to a tenant, and then you're either going to get positive cash flow from that if basically the rent that you're getting exceeds your expenses. So any repair fees or any maintenance fees you're going to have on that property, the insurance as well as the mortgage, if you have a positive cash flow at the end of the day, you're essentially getting all that free equity as your tenant pays your mortgage for you and you have money left over each month. That is a win-win scenario. And even if you're in a situation where you're just breaking even each month and your tenants are just paying for that mortgage, that's still free equity that you're getting because you're not paying that mortgage. Your tenants are paying it for you. So this is one of the best ways to invest your money. It's definitely higher risk. It's not a low risk investment by any means, and it's definitely not a passive investment. A lot of people try to sell real estate as a passive investment. And at first it's anything but passive because you're going to have to do a lot of work. You're going to have to maintain the properties, figure out things like snow removal, lawn care. I'm not going to go crazy into this because this is just kind of an overview video to kind of give you guys some ideas. So I'm going to leave it at that. But real estate direct ownership is definitely a great option if you have $10,000 to invest. And your other option too would be not a buy and hold, but a buy and flip. And obviously if you were doing that, you would need access to financing. in order to pay for all of the basically whatever you need to do to rehab that house and hopefully sell it for a profit. But if you are handy yourself and you have friends who are handy and you have access to financing, maybe buying and flipping a piece of real estate wouldn't be a bad idea. Now, number 4, you could probably do this before you had $10,000, but I just wanted to talk about this as another way to invest money. If you're looking to invest in real estate with less risk, you could invest in a real estate investment trust. It's also called a REIT. I'm sure you guys have heard these mentioned before. But this is basically real estate as a publicly traded investment. And REITs trade on major exchanges just like a stock. Basically what they do with a REIT is a trust is formed and the money from investors is used to purchase, operate, and sell income generating profits. Now this is a low risk investment with high liquidity. Because it's traded like a stock on the stock exchange, it's very easy to sell that investment. Significantly easier than it would be to sell a physical piece of real estate. You could sell a REIT in a day, in an hour, in a minute, without an issue, because it's trading on a major exchange. Very high liquidity with a REIT. REITs are very similar to dividend stocks. In fact, they're almost identical, just the underlying investment is actually representing a piece of property, not an actual company. And the way that it works is in order for something to be qualified as a REIT, they have to pay out 90% of taxable profits in the form of dividends to the investors. What's interesting about REITs, a lot of people don't realize this, is that they often represent non-residential properties. So it's not uncommon to see a REIT representing malls or medical buildings as well as office buildings. So it's a cool way to get diversified into commercial real estate. Obviously, I'm sure as you guys know, commercial real estate is usually more expensive to get into, but if you invest in the form of a REIT, you can get some exposure to commercial real estate without having to have such an upfront investment. They're basically just like real estate traded on the stock market. That's the best way to look at a REIT. And then if you're looking for further diversification, there's also REIT mutual funds, which would basically provide you broad exposure to a number of different real estate investment trusts. Kind of a tongue twister there. Sorry about that. All right, number 5. This is one that's probably going to interest most of us here, is investing in a stock portfolio. Now, I pretty much started doing my investing in stock about a year ago is when I first got started, but I got more into it in the last 8 months or so, I would say. But if I were to set up if I had $10,000 and I was going to set up a stock portfolio and I was a complete beginner, here's how I would recommend setting it up. And this is more for a long-term investment, and this is basically what I would do. I would invest 25 to 40% in a blue chip stock that you love. And then I would take another 25 to 40% and invest it in a second blue chip stock of a company that you love but of a different sector. That way you're not all in one basket. Then I would take the remaining 20 to 50%, depending on how much you invested in those first 2 stocks, and I would invest that in 1 to 3 different mid-cap growth stocks. Obviously, if you're heavily involved, so 50% involved in these mid-cap growth stocks, there's going to be higher risk, and if you're less involved, there's going to be lower risk. And this is all based on historical data on mid-cap versus large-cap stocks, so it's not guaranteed, but just based on the past, this would be your best strategy as far as avoiding risk. Would be more heavily involved in blue chips. That would be lower risk, and if you're more heavily involved in the growth stocks, there's going to be a little bit higher risk there. So it all depends on what your risk tolerance is as an investor. Things I would avoid as far as investing in stocks would be avoid all penny stocks, avoid small cap stocks, and a lot of penny stocks are considered small cap stocks. I would also recommend avoiding biotech and pharmaceutical companies because there's a high risk of those companies going bankrupt. So that's just from what I've seen, and some of that's my personal experience as well. I've talked to a lot of people who've invested in biotech and pharmaceutical companies, and they were not happy with their investments. I know I've told this story before. One of my first investments was actually a biotech company, and I bought that stock back in January of 2016, January 2016. So it was like 15 months ago or so now, and I bought the stock when the stock had just fallen like I think 200% or something, and I was like, oh, it couldn't possibly go lower, and I have a very small position in that. I think I have like $150 worth of the stock, and it fell a lot more from there, and I'm still waiting for that stock to come up in price just so I can sell, and I've been holding that stock now for 15 months, and it's getting there. It's climbing a little bit each day, but it's something I'll be holding for a long time, and maybe 18 months go by and I broke even on it, so definitely that's not a good investment. So that's my personal experience with biotech. They're very high, what's the word I'm looking for here? Volatility. They're very volatile stocks, for sure. And a lot of the times they're based on things like FDA regulations, and that's just not something I want to have my money riding on. Anyways, Like I said, invest solely in blue chip stocks if you're looking to keep risk to a minimum. And with a stock portfolio like this and most stock investing, you want to think long term. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Okay, so number 6. This is my favorite way to invest $10,000, and it's been my favorite way in the previous videos too. But the best way to invest money is actually to invest in yourself. So what I would recommend is either starting a business or get a certification that will allow you to make more money every single day. So here's a couple things you could get up and running for $10,000 or less. Number 1 would be to get a home inspection license as well as the equipment needed, so maybe ladders, a truck, flashlights, whatever it is that you would need. But get a home inspection license, because the average fee for a home inspection is $500. So you can make a lot of money doing home inspections for people looking to buy a home. Another example would be to become a private investigator, get the license to practice, pay for the liability insurance as well as the equipment and the database access, and become a private investigator. Then the third example I had on here, I don't know if you guys saw my video on, it was basically how to sell a house. And I talked about how much real estate agents make. They make a killing. You could become a real estate agent, pay for the online course. And guys, that is significantly less than $10,000. I think when I looked at it, I saw courses as little as $500 for a 75-hour real estate course to get you up and running as a real estate agent. I'm pretty sure that was the case. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But from what I could see, it's not that expensive to get your real estate certification and get up and running selling real estate and making those sweet commissions for yourself. So those are 3 really cool ways that you could invest money in yourself and then make more money every single day. And then you take that money that you have and you invest that money. That's just a way to make more money, have more money to invest, and just, grow your wealth over time. But definitely none of these businesses here, none of these things on this board at all are get-rich-quick schemes. These are all for building long-term wealth. And basically each of these businesses here, guys, can make you a lot of money long-term. And rather than, maybe you're working a job right now, you're not making a ton of money, rather than invest in something else, why not invest in yourself so you can make more money each and every day? And you could also look at investing in, a college degree. Maybe get a community college degree. A lot of those cost not a ton of money. I know for my 2 years at school, cost me about $12,000 in tuition. So we're almost there with that $10,000. So you could be well on your way to getting yourself a college education if you're looking at a community college or whatever. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please drop a like, and feel free to drop me any comments below with any feedback you have about this video. If you guys are new to the channel, I would certainly appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to be notified of any future uploads. And as always, I thank you guys for watching this video.